Apple products are notorious for being insanely expensive. After mastering the art of conspicuous consumption, the tech company seems to be hell-bent on pushing its customers' pricing boundaries. I mean, this is a trillion-dollar company whose market cap is even higher than the GDP of Switzerland. So why are Apple's products more expensive than its competitors? Is it simply because of loyal customers who just pay to have their favorite brand's logo on each of Apple's luxury products? What exactly is it about Apple that makes people go insane every time the company releases a new product, with essentially the same old specs? Do you think the hype is even worth the price hikes? Does Apple like to put an unfair price on loyalty? Curious about all that? Well, keep watching to learn more about why Apple's products are getting so expensive. 1. Apple tax. To become the proud owner of an iPhone, iPad, or MacBook, you have to pay a little something called an Apple tax. This substantial tax is the price for top-notch premium products. An Apple ecosystem exacts insanely large amounts of money because, hey, paying more is basically a norm for their devoted customers. Sometimes these prices are mildly off-putting, but recently Apple has gone way overboard with the most bizarre price hikes imaginable. This premium cost is infamously known as the Apple tax, which can be traced back to 2001 when the original iPad came out with a price tag of $399 and was inflated to $579. So how exactly does Apple make its users cough up this hefty tax? Well, consider this situation. Apple sells its 256GB Mac for $1,299. On the other hand, a Windows laptop with arguably better specs will have the same price tag. So the price is the same, but quality, not so much. Let's take another example of Apple tax. Although Apple has boasted about certain updates to the Mac Mini, MacBook Air, iPad Pro, and Apple Pencil, each one comes with a huge price hike. They have even raised prices of Mac accessories based on the new space gray color. Here are some basic examples of Mac prices blowing through the roof. Mac Mini. The Mac Mini was priced at $499 at entry level, but since then, it comes at $799. And it doesn't even include a keyboard, mouse, or display. Mac Pro. Apple also revealed their $5,000 Mac Pro display, accompanied by a $1,000 monitor stand. $1,000 for a stand. You heard that correctly. MacBook Air. And while we're on the topic of Apple selling overpriced MacBooks, let's not forget about the MacBook Air, which debuted at $1,899 with merely 64GB storage. Another example was in 2015 when it debuted the $10,000 gold Apple Watch, which had roughly $300 worth of gold in weight. All Apple had to do was slap on the logo to attract buyers, and there you have it.
Its most groundbreaking feature is that it allows you to communicate with unrivaled accuracy that you have $10,000.
However, this isn't even the most troubling side of the Apple tax. The thing is, Apple isn't even sparing entry-level items before selling them off with a huge price tag that is sure to blow your minds. Take this one. Now, the base model Apple Watch experienced a considerable price hike from $329 to $399. The most stunning Apple tax was on iPad Pro, which experienced a price hike by going from $649 to $799. You heard that right, folks, and that doesn't even take into account the extra $50 you have to pay for greater capacity. All in all, this brings us to a staggering price tag of $1,899 for a maximum capacity 12.9-inch cellular iPad Pro model. But hey, did you think that Apple stops pushing the price boundaries of its customers even after some backlash? Of course not. While we're on the topic of Apple tax, we should talk about the way Apple handles storage, because anyone who wishes to buy Apple products should take a crash course on Apple Storage 101 to brace themselves for some financial shocks. It's essentially pretty simple. If you wish to upgrade your storage, pay up. The bigger the storage space available, the more expensive the gadget will be. Eventually, the prices get higher and higher until they reach the extreme level for Apple computers. So it goes without saying that going overboard is the modus operandi for Apple. Another form of the Apple tax is observed in Apple's accessories, like the premium keyboards that are sold for $129 and the premium mouse for $79. Even the cables are insanely expensive. So that's the first main reason why Apple products are getting expensive, because of the ever-climbing Apple tax. 2. Rising prices of chips. The second reason why Apple's products are getting so expensive is due to the rising price of semiconductors. The global shortage of supplies like chips and conductors has raised the manufacturing fees imposed by the world's largest chip maker companies. So we can safely state that perhaps Apple shouldn't be blamed entirely for its ridiculously overpriced items. For example, the chip maker Qualcomm is expected to charge higher prices for supplying crucial parts to Apple for its iPhone 13, and unfortunately, the users will have to face the brunt of these soaring prices when Apple will create even more costly gadgets. Apple will be forced to release high-end products to compensate for the cost consequences, and users will have to cough up even more money. 3. Software. Okay, so let's face it, Apple is singularly unique for developing its iOS versions from scratch. Every time an Apple product gets an upgrade or update, it's all thanks to Apple, as there is no other third-party software involved. This sets Apple apart from Android and Windows. Now, the thing is, you don't see that with Android phones and Windows devices because both of them receive a ready-made operating system from Google. And of course, the software from Google and Microsoft is relatively free of bugs and is pre-tested too. On the other hand, Apple designs and tests its software for itself, considering that they have to pay for all the research and development themselves, unlike, say, Android, that racks up quite a lot of expenditures. In fact, Apple had to pay a whopping $18.75 billion in 2020 for research and development. So it's evident that consumers have to pay for that out of their own pockets too, since Apple charges them for directly managing iOS software. Let's move on to the fourth reason for soaring Apple price tags. 4. Psychological. If you have a friend who owns like a gazillion Apple products, you must be familiar with that intense feeling of envy and wistfulness. And who wouldn't feel that way? Let's be honest here. Or maybe you're someone who buys iPhones and MacBook Pros simply for show. It just makes you feel very so premium and special. Well, that's exactly the sort of emotions Apple wants to incite from everyone who looks up at the blazing billboards. It's all a psychological game where either you spend loads of money on Apple products for personal gratification, or you feel envious enough to scrounge up enough money to buy the iPhone. And boy, does Apple capitalize on that. Whenever the tech giant announces a new Apple product when not even a year has gone by for the existing model, you'll find people simply starving for the new item. And boom, a wild buzz is created that Apple intensifies by using age-old formulas like pre-ordering. And there you have it, folks. Apple has become a Venus flytrap for users seeking psychological satisfaction in that iconic logo. That should explain why Apple products keep getting more and more expensive. However, that's not all, as you will see next. 5. Slowdown of sales. Last but not least, the reason Apple's products are becoming so costly is because of the sales slowdowns. Now, Apple has been facing a serious downtrend because, hey, that $1,000 price tag sure doesn't look very nice anymore. Anyway, some products have reached maximum market saturation as there isn't any market left to take over or expand into. For example, the sales of gadgets like the iPhone, Mac, and iPad have seen a steady downturn since 2015. Anyone with a smidgen of marketplace sense can figure out how terribly detrimental that is for Apple. What if the potential investors and analysts took a look at their revenues and went, nope, not good enough? So, if you're Apple, what do? Voila! You raise the prices of all your existing gadgets to compensate for a decline in sales. And the cherry on top? The flourishing revenues will show the competitors and investors that business is simply booming. Simple as that. So basically, Apple is overcharging customers to bring in so much revenue that it will cover up for the sales slowdown. With that, we are done with today's video. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Peace out.